Welcome back to another special edition of Spotlight, where we feature the University of Central Arkansas's College of Fine Arts and Communication. I'm Donna Lampkin-Stevens. Today we are on the road at the Baum Gallery of Fine Art, where we are watching the installation of the BA, BFA senior exhibit for graduating seniors in the art department, and we're going to go from beginning to end of the installation. It should be a really exciting show. So please join us when we return.
At the University of Central Arkansas, I live in the only residential college in the country focused on entrepreneurship and innovation. I've had the opportunity to develop mobile apps for local businesses. And I've been able to do everything from intramural sports to campus radio.
It is my college. So.
UCA put me and my education front and center. Learn how at uca.edu.
Welcome back to Spotlight. I'm here with Barclay McConnell, Director of the Baum Gallery of Fine Art. And Barclay, we are in the midst of chaos here, but it soon is going to be the BA, BFA senior exhibit.
Exactly.
So tell us a little bit about, I guess, the details for this show.
The BA BFA show is every semester, it's the graduating seniors within the Department of Art, either graduating with a Bachelor of Arts or a Bachelor of Fine Arts. This particular show, we have 14 students graduating. 2 of them will be graduating with BFA and the rest with BA. And the show is going up right now as we speak.
And I hope when the show airs that we have footage of the actual show, because we wanted to show how things change. And you take an empty room and you install art, and the process, I think, is as exciting as the actual show.
It is, and it's a lot more complicated than it seems.
Absolutely.
Many people walk in a gallery and they think, oh, you know, they just slap some art up on the wall, but there's so much more that goes into it that people have no idea about.
Now, I think one of my students, Holly Morrison, is going to talk to some individual artists, but tell us sort of, we don't really have a theme here because it's every individual's portfolio or whatever. So what do we have? We have a little bit of, we have some sculpture, we have what?
Yes, there's generally work in all media. It's the final work that the students did as part of their, as a requirement for graduation. And it's juried. This is a juried show. So the faculty have a say in what goes in the show in the end. And we have ceramic work, we have paintings, we even have behind us, as you can see, there's going to be an installation that's sort of graffiti street art kind of work that's going to be interactive. So there's a little bit of everything, traditional to the very contemporary.
Okay, that's great. So, and if they don't, if the jurors don't select it, they don't graduate, right?
Well, they have to exhibit to graduate.
Okay.
But if the jurors don't select certain work, it doesn't get in. But yes, they have to create work that the jurors decide is good enough to be in the senior show.
And did we have an outside juror, or is it
Oh, no,
the
no,
faculty?
it's the department faculty,
Okay.
yes.
Okay.
And it's not individuals, it's groups. They meet with panels of faculty that you know, give them advice on how to improve the work, you know, how the work could best be displayed, all of that.
So talk about the display. Is there a prime space that these students are vying for? Like my stuff should go on this wall, or?
Well, some work works better in a larger space, and some works better in a more intimate space. So it sort of depends on the work. Some people, of course, you know, with 3D work, you may want it in the center of a room, that kind of thing. Right. There are a lot of considerations, but you basically, it comes down to wanting to show off all the work as best as it can be. So it's not about one artist, it's about, you know, the entire group of artists and showing off their work to its very best.
Now, you've been here, this is your second year?
Third year.
Third year, oh
yeah.
gosh, okay. So what can you say about the quality of the UCA student artists? Are they?
It's phenomenal. Every semester, I am just amazed at what ends up in this gallery. We have this show, the reception, and hundreds of people come out, and everyone is so impressed. And I am as excited as it can be to see the work come in every time, because it's really impressive. I think it says a lot about our faculty, and it says a lot about the hard work of these students, because what comes together for each of these shows is really impressive. More impressive than what I've seen at many other universities.
Really?
So.
Okay. Okay, tell us about, okay, when you came here this morning, this room was empty.
Yeah, it didn't start today. We started last Thursday.
Last Thursday,
This is you know, really day 3 of installation.
So how does the installation process work?
Start to finish. So the work is brought in, and
some of this work, I mean, look, you've got huge pieces and breakable pieces.
Yes. Well, I've already met with the groups of students, BAs and BFAs, several times before they even bring work here, and then we talk about where they might want to be and how it might best be displayed. And then when they bring the work in, we sort of lean it against the walls in different areas and think about, you know, what would look best, what would really set off the work around it, all of that. So it's sort of like a game of chess. I call it gallery chess. You have to try sort of, because if you take one piece out, you got to figure out where it's going. It changes everything, and so there's a lot of planning and in the laying out of the show.
And that's where you're an expert.
Well, yes, I have a good eye for it.
Okay.
just that it's a well-trained eye.
Right. Sure.
Because I've been doing this a long time, but. I also, you know, of course, I take into consideration other people's opinions. I always ask the other staff members. I ask the different artists that are, you know, what they think as well. It's a collaborative process. It's not just a dictatorship. And so then there's the whole process of measuring the walls and getting the exact right amount of space between every piece.
You know, people don't think that math comes into play here, but it's big time.
Significant math. Yes. Because everything has to be at the same height at eye level, and in one gallery it's different than the other because the ceilings are higher, and so we hang at a certain height, we hang a certain amount away from each other, and then you have to think about the installation of labels and artist statements beside each piece, so you have to take all that into account. It's a long process, you know, it's a lengthy process.
And then they come in with, I mean, over here we have a young woman who's literally painting on the walls. I hear hammers going on. I see pedestals being placed over there. Is it all up to them individually? Have they done this before?
Some students have more experience than others with installation, but many students, it's their very first time. And so we have gallery staff who are really well trained, and they're always willing to help. And we do guide them as much as we can so that their work is set off to their very best ability. Sometimes you get so close to the work that
I'm sure.
It's really hard to see, you know, you get really sort of compelled that it needs to be a certain way, but it might look better if you just adjusted it one little bit. And so,
and outside eyes can often see that.
We try to give them that additional perspective. But yes, they install it themselves. They even hang their own labels, and they deinstall it, so they get that experience.
So this will go up, the opening reception as we are talking, or the opening of the exhibit as we talk here is 3 days from now.
3 days from now, correct.
And it's going to be up until December 5th.
Correct.
And so when will the deinstallation? I mean, I don't think people think about that.
Right, the deinstallation is, you know, a whole other process. You've got, I mean, for example, with this young woman who's painted on the walls, we've got to repaint that.
Does she repaint the walls?
She does.
Okay.
So, yes, but it's the deinstallation will happen starting the day after it closes, and people will come and get their work and spackle the holes that they put in the walls, and we'll repaint and get it back to pristine condition for the next show.
Okay, which will be in January.
January, correct.
Okay. So tell us a little bit. Some of these pieces are for sale. How does that work? Who decides, and what's the price range? That kind of thing.
Right. The students decide that, and you know, some of them have a real sort of sentimental attachment to certain works and don't want to sell. You know, so there are works that are not for sale. But then there are always, you know, quite a few works that sell in these shows every time. And it's really exciting for the students to sell their first work.
Oh, I bet.
So it just depends. The students decide what value they would like to place on it. The prices are often displayed in this show on the labels, or we'll keep a book off to the side where you can look something up if you're interested in purchasing it. But yes, much of the work will be for sale.
And it's just first come, if the first one who gives the money
The first
gets
one
to
who
take it home
says
after the
at the
deinstallation.
reception, yeah, after the deinstallation, they get to take it home. But at the reception, people would just, come to me or to the artist and say, "I'd like to buy this," and we put a red dot on it, which means sold.
Okay,
Right?
great. That's exciting.
It is exciting.
Okay, Barclay. Well, I think Holly Morrison is going to be walking around with some of the individual artists here in a moment, and sort of getting some the word from the horse's mouth, as you would say. And I'm so excited about this. Welcome, congratulations on another show.
Thanks.
And Spotlight will be back in a moment.
The University of Central Arkansas offers programs you can't find anywhere else in the state.
Thank you.
Like digital filmmaking, an education that's helped me enter film festivals, and intern at a local TV station. UCA's given me school pride I can call my own, in a community that feels more like a family.
Action.
UCA put me and my education front and center. Learn how at uca.edu.
Welcome back. This is Holly Morrison here at the Baum Gallery, where the BA/BFA art exhibit is now being installed. I was able to speak with some of the seniors here on some of their pieces. So I know that you are one of the 2 BFA students involved in this exhibit. Does that cause a lot of pressure to really step up your game when it comes to the exhibit here?
It is challenging because I think last semester there was around 7 people, and so now that there's only 2, it's like we just have to make sure we're on top and, showing our best work. Okay. So it is kind of a competitive major.
Right, and this is one of your pieces, correct? This
yes,
one here?
all of these are my work.
I guess just kind of tell me how you got started. Why is this what you wanted to do?
For me, I've always been interested in portraiture and drawing people, and that's just kind of the way I documented my life. And so for this show, I not only collected fragments of portraiture, I also collected language fragments from things I would hear around me or things I just thought were humorous that maybe one of my friends would say. And I collected all of those and kind of organized them according to where I heard them or who said them, things like that, and just kind of etched them all up to document my memories.
Okay, and I guess kind of explain exactly how you did this, because I'm seeing 2 different layers here. Yeah. How did you do this?
Well, the material is, some of them are acrylic and some are polycarbonate, and I used a Dremel tool to etch out my compositions on them. And depending on what kind of lighting you're in, it creates different shadow variations. So it's really fun because I didn't actually know how they would look until I got in the gallery.
Okay,
so.
And I see people are in these.
Yes.
Who are they?
These people are either friends or people that I interact with at work, somebody that's close to me in my life. So they're not just random, portraits.
And was this hard to install?
Not too hard. It was kind of difficult because I have to line all of these up, and if one of them is just a millimeter off, the whole thing won't fit on. So I very meticulously taped it all out and made sure it was going to fit. So.
Okay, and I guess if you could tell me about your other piece that's on the other wall.
These are all QR codes, compositions, and when you scan them, it kind of takes you to this interactive anonymous statement blog where you can submit your thoughts, observations, ideas concerning, I think the 4 topics were art, work environment, school, and relationships. Okay. And it's kind of so the viewer can get interactive into my process of documenting, and they can kind of start to process things internally like that and think about their environments.
Well, that's really cool. What made you decide to do that?
It actually happened 2 weeks before I decided to install my work. I just thought it'd be neat for them to kind of understand what I'm doing by participating in it. Okay. So, just to think about things more in depth.
That's really cool. What is it on? What's
it's just printed on I think a 45-pound paper. Okay. And if you have a scan app, you can do that, or I'll have labels where if you don't have that option, you can just go to the website. Okay. And do that yourself too.
All right. Thank you so much for telling me about all this.
No problem.
Tell me about what you're planning on doing here, because this is a really big exhibit.
Yeah. What my plans are is I wanted to install this big industrial space, and then I created characters, which I guess I could bring one up or something.
I guess he would bring one up if you. Well, yeah, show it to us.
Here's part of one of the characters I created, and I create them in the computer, and then I get them printed out really big, and then I'm going to paste them in the space.
Okay.
So, and they're part of like it's kind of like a fantasy, they're part of like a space.
Right, I was going to ask you a little bit about the theme, 'cause it seems like I think I see a screen mask over there,
Yeah.
and then I see her.
Well, what I do is I've taken like a bunch of different influences from a lot of different sources and like kind of remixed them together. Like, because it's all been stuff that's like been influential in my life, like from movies, games, and that sort of thing. So and then I remix them into one character, and then I've put them all into this team kind of thing. So.
Okay. And yeah, you said you started last week on this. How long do you expect this to take? Because it looks like you've got a lot of room to work with.
Well, today I was hoping to actually start pasting stuff up, and then kind of like ripping stuff down, and just kind of working in the space.
Right.
And then probably tomorrow, I'll do a little bit more of the same, and then the last day I'll just kind of tweak and paint maybe, and just. So I think I can get it done.
Were you nervous about having this big space? I mean, did you just come in here and say, I'm calling it, that's mine?
Yeah, I mean, I picked the space out, but I mean, I didn't really know how long it would take, or how. I just had to get in here.
Okay. And what inspired you to do this in the beginning? What made you decide to go this route?
Well, I've always been interested in like character design, kind of fantasy, and I've always been like interested in drawing, my own stuff, and like computer games and that sort of thing, and like concept art. So I just kind of merged it all together with street art and graffiti and that kind of thing. So.
Okay. And what do you plan to do next? I see some windows up. What do you plan to do with that? It's just so big. I don't know what you're going to do just yet.
Well, for the show, when I have all my work up, I want to have it to where the viewer can like interact with everything, and they can actually like draw and write on my stuff.
Okay.
So it actually like simulates a real space.
I guess first, just tell me about this piece.
Okay. Well, these are all just different vessels that I did in a ceramics wheel throwing class, and basically. Each of them, I just kind of wanted to do like an illustrative, just kind of different story. Like this one has like a walrus and little clams on it. It's supposed to be kind of from the Alice in Wonderland story, The Walrus and the Carpenter. And this one kind of also goes into that theme with the caterpillar. And then I have the hookah behind it. So I just kind of wanted to like show just how like ideas can like bounce off of each other.
Right.
Like this is the Czech Republic. It's one of my favorite cities.
Okay.
Or Prague is, and that's an elephant. And so it was just I wanted to just kind of take like different ideas and just kind of put them together in this. So.
Okay, so we have the ceramics, then we have the artwork going on behind it. What made you decide to just bring in that artwork behind? Is it just to try to bring all the art together?
Yeah, pretty much. Like I knew these wouldn't really be able to tell much of a story or message if they were just like on pedestals. So like it's really, you have to think about like the presentation, like how are you gonna display this, and just like these tiny little objects, like people wouldn't really be drawn in to look at them more unless I had something else that was kind of tying them together.
And how did you come up with the design? I see you have a picture here just to kind of go off of.
Well, I just kind of was looking at just the different things and like trying to think like, what kind of relates to the image that's on the mug. And so I was thinking kind of like an ocean kind of scene with like a net, like a bird, and then with Prague, like making the city like bigger behind it. So it was just kind of started coming together, like so. And
starting from the very beginning, what even inspired you to do this kind of mythical theme?
I'm not quite sure. Like sometimes, like ideas just kind of come to you, like if you're just like in the classroom, like whether it's like something that you looked at that day that just kind of planted a thought in your head. Like, so I work really just intuitively, like just kind of as I'm doing something, be like, oh, that reminds me of this. And so then I am able to come up with something just off of other things. So. And
what kind of paints are you using? Because I know this is on the wall in this exhibit. So what kind of paints are you using?
I'm using acrylic paint. Okay. So.
And I guess it stays, it looks like it's staying pretty well.
Yeah, I mean, it's easy cleanup. Oil paint is not good because oil-based, you can't paint acrylic house paint over that. So it's good to know like what would be easy to clean up the best. So.
And I guess when it comes to taking it down, how will we deal like with the paint behind it? Are you just going to paint over it? I know you said it's easy to clean up.
Yeah, I'll probably just talk to Barclay and see what she thinks is best. I'm thinking just whatever they use for the wall in here, just rolling over it however many coats I need to cover it up. But I'll still have like an image of it, I guess, once it's done, to have the artwork still like that. So.
And what do you expect from the viewers that come in? What do you want them to see out of your artwork?
I guess I'm just kind of wanting them to maybe revisit maybe thoughts like from their childhood, like maybe from storybooks that they've read, just kind of, just for their imagination, just to kind of flow of like what kind of scene is this, so.
Start out, do you have like a main piece here that you would like to emphasize on, or are they all just like your major artwork?
They all kind of are in like different little series, but I would say like my main pieces are definitely the vases. The drawings that I have are kind of a jump off of what inspired me to make those vases. And what I did is I just kind of, it was all about process, and most of my work is about process. I don't really, I do a lot of research and whatnot, and I look at other artists, but I feel like in the building process is when I develop most of my ideas. So what I did is I just layered all these different drawing materials, and then I came in and I carved these vessels. And since I'm a ceramic emphasis, so I thought they really inspired me to kind of make these three-dimensional vessels. So I started out with this one and the surface, and then I just kind of developed them into there. And I'm really inspired by henna and pattern and those kinds of things. I think that definitely speaks to who I am. I just love pattern and mixing pattern and building on top of things. And
Well, so since you said that you started out with the ceramics, what inspired you to make those?
Well, the drawings inspired me to make the
okay.
vessels.
Okay.
Yeah, they're actually small slip cast vessels, and I've built them into larger vessels. So there's like a process of building that I really enjoy, which you can kind of see throughout everything else. Like the installation I have here in the corner, it's all slip casts. It's light bulb casts and like screws, and I've cast those and cut them up and put them back together into like these toy kind of little sculptures. And the same thing with the cups. The cups are thrown, and then the spikes are slip cast. So it's all like building.
It almost looks a little medieval.
Yeah, I do. I feel like it's a little whimsical, kind of, And the other two pieces I have, they're thrown, and then I've built them on top, and they're dessert stands. So I like that idea of like combining functional with sculptural, and that idea of like being able to use these things. Some of what I have is like functional versus sculpture, but I like that idea of like having to use them, but still being like a little scared to use, use
Yeah,
it.
I understand.
Yeah.
So you're putting a lot of pieces into this exhibit. What made you want to put all of this in it?
I think I work very hard, and I really just wanted to show, how hard I have been working, and it's exciting, and I feel like this is the perfect kind of opportunity for everyone to see why I'm, stuck in the Schiestel building all the time, and I just think it's the best opportunity, and it's like my little send-off.
Now, I know that you've probably worked really hard on all of your artwork. What made you decide to sell some of them?
I find that I hold on to a lot of things, and I don't want to hold on to my work just because I'm a little attached to it. It took a lot of debating whether or not to sell the vases, and I decided to not sell them after a lot of advising from my professors to not sell them. She thinks I can go further with them. But yeah, I just don't want to like hold on to things, and if I want to be an artist, I have to learn to let go of the time that I put, and hopefully people will want to buy. That's the thing, I just want people to buy them.
Yeah, and I'm sure that feels really great to have people come in and buy your artwork too. So what do you want the viewers and the people that come to maybe some of the receptions, what do you want them to get out of your pieces?
I definitely want them to see like what my inspiration is with all the pattern and that building process, that process that I go through, to kind of see that it doesn't have to be like content so straight on, that it can be just about the process and the act of making, because I think that's, to me, is the best part of making art, is that process of making, because that, to me, that's the funnest thing. And I think you get so many ideas that it's endless. I think I want people to see like what the possibilities are just by spending the time in the studio and making and thinking things out.
Okay, and I guess how much longer do you think you'll have on installing all of these pieces?
Well, I still have to paint. I still have to paint behind that, so I'm hoping the end of today would be it. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
But I still have tomorrow, so it's not.
Plenty of time then.
Yeah.
Okay.
It won't take that much longer.
Thank you so much for being with us. And now after this short break, we'll be back with Donna for more Spotlight.
Hi, I'm Bruce Adolph. You probably know me as the piano puzzler on public radio, but I'll be here in Conway for a big fundraiser on March 21st. Bravo, it's called. Fundraiser for the students of the College of Fine Arts and Communications. There'll be cocktail party, dinner right here on the stage of Reynolds, live piano puzzlers, and much more. I hope to see you there.
For more information about the programs and people featured on the show, call the College of Fine Arts and Communication at 501-450-3293 or check us out on the web, www.uca.edu/CFAC, and be sure to like us on Facebook. Join us again next time for another edition of Spotlight.